Hey guys, it's Ray here and welcome to a new video. This video I'm calling Manicured Mansion. I know I'm like kind of running out of adjectives here. I'm trying to make adjectives that sort of fit in with the name of the build. So I want to make kind of alliterations for everything, which is not working out too well for me. I'm kind of running out of ideas here. But I think it's kind of fun just to see how many I can come up with. I know manicured is, you would normally think of manicured as like a set of nails, like if you get a manicure, but it can also be used to describe sort of like a garden, like a well-manicured garden, and it just kind of means like neat and well cared for. So I kind of thought that fit the title, or that title kind of fit this build because it's like super clean and precise. And even though I call it mansion, it looks like a mansion kind of from the outside, but it definitely isn't that big, especially compared to some other builds that I've done. I believe it is four bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. And I feel like you could definitely add some more bedrooms and make it bigger if you really wanted to. Like, I know I used a lot of living area that you could turn into bedrooms. And there's also a whole 3rd level that I just did not even furnish because I didn't build stairs up to there because I just thought it would take away kind of from the space. So I did end up not doing anything with that area. And also there is a sort of kind of a bedroom area in the front, kind of that I'm building right now on the 2nd level. And that could be counted as a 5th bedroom, probably. It's big, definitely big enough. But, you know, I intended it to possibly be, you know, whatever you want. So it could be a living area, it could be another bedroom, whatever you guys need. If you want to download this and play with your Sims in it, you can obviously use it for whatever you want. And if you do want to download this, I do have it up on my gallery. My username is Ray3501, Ray for Ray. And yeah, just hope you guys like playing in it. And I try to do something, every time I build, I try to do something a little bit different, obviously. I think I say this in every single video. I say, oh, I'm trying something different. I'm trying something different today. And I just keep saying it over and over again. And I feel like I should stop saying that because I say it every time. Yes, I know I'm not doing the same exact things every time, so it's always going to be different from what it was before. But especially since I started the YouTube channel, I'm just trying to go for like different things each time, go out of my comfort zone kind of, because it's kind of interesting just to see like what other builders out there can do. Oh, I just cut that because it took me way too long to place all those little object things. By the way, wow, I really just lost my train of thought there. I think to be at least a successful builder and really have builds that other people kind of admire and look up to, you need to be kind of pushing your boundaries every single time. So that's why I'm trying to do something in a different style as much as I can, or use a new idea or concept that I have every time. So I definitely want to go for something different and not make all my builds exactly the same and boring and the same kind of thing every time, because that's just boring. No one wants to see that, right? And that's why it's important to kind of change it up. And what I did with this build here is in Del Sol Valley on the beautiful lot that looks over the city. I love this lot so much. This one, it's not the biggest one. It's not 64 by 64. I believe it's maybe 50 by 50 or 40 by 50 possibly. So it's not the biggest, but it's still pretty big. And what I did with it is I kind of created like this curved driveway. So this driveway is circular. It goes around the house, around the front of the house, and then it also goes off to the side into a garage. And I was inspired off of a picture on Pinterest. And just to let you guys know, if you don't have Pinterest and you like are looking for inspiration for your builds, get a Pinterest right now. Like, it is super helpful to have, and I'm really glad I got one because I didn't really have one for a while. But once I found out that other builders were using it for ideas, I was like, that's perfect, because, you know, sometimes you just kind of run out of inspiration. You really need to find something to build, and something that, you know, is different, that makes you excited to build, because it's not fun building if you don't enjoy it. Like, it's not fun if you're doing the same kind of things, and it's only worth it if you're going to be creating something that you like to create. And for me, that's not doing the same thing every time. And I know some people like building in the same style, but for me, the fun thing is kind of switching it up and seeing what I can do to change this or change that. So I really just want to kind of keep a variety for you guys. So I hope you guys like that, and let me know what your favorite type of build is, and I could build always more of those. And I'm trying to do everything. I'm trying to do modern, traditional, something unique. I'm trying to build kind of everything out there. So just let me know what you guys like the most and what you think I should keep doing, and maybe what you think I should do less. I know I'm trying not to do too many of the same types of builds, but if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. So something that I really wanted to do with this build is make it very white. And I was inspired, obviously, like I said, by the picture on Pinterest. And a lot of my builds, I find the need to add so many colors and make it super extravagant and elaborate. And like, not all houses are like that in real life. And this house was super white. And I was like, well, I don't know if I can even build this. Like, it's too white. And I'm definitely the kind of person that likes to add colors to all my builds. But recently I've been trying to build things that are different, obviously, like I was just talking about, from what I'm used to. So I was really trying to go for the all white version here. And you can see I'm playing around with the windows. And I'm like, well, maybe just a little bit of black. But I was like, okay, I have the black roof. In my inspiration picture, the roof isn't even black. It's just a flat white roof. So I felt like I had to add at least a little bit of contrast in there, but it's very, very white. And even the driveway was white, but I decided to make this driveway gray. And it's because the stone pattern that I put in for the like circular piece matches the rock pattern for terrain paint. And that was the only paint that I found that matched the floor style. So I ended up just going with that because it matched. But yeah, it would have been very, very bright if it was white, I think. So I'm definitely taking some time to figure out the windows, and these rooms off on the corners here, they end up being the bathrooms. So I do realize that's kind of weird to have like the bathrooms for the two of the bedrooms upstairs having those giant windows. But I did put blinds in them, so hopefully it won't be super awkward for your Sims to use the bathroom. And I split them in half because they're so small. So the front little octagon on each side is where the toilet is for each bathroom, and then on the bottom octagon, or the back octagon, that's where the shower is. And I believe the sink is with the toilet, and then the shower is by itself. So I just kind of created something like a little bit different because I couldn't even fit a whole bathroom into the octagon. I mean, I guess I could have, but I wanted it to have like real pieces to it. I didn't want it to just have like a bunch of things smushed in. So now what I did is I built the basement already. So I deleted the ceiling on top of that. So now there's that little area of opening on both the right side of the house and in the front middle of the house. And I put a fountain in the middle part, and then on the right side I put a little area just to kind of sit with like furniture and relax. And I also put like a area of plants, and towards the end I do end up adding water there with rocks because I just thought it was kind of bland and empty. But I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do over here with the doors and the windows, and it actually takes me like forever to figure out what to do. And I end up taking them out over here because I decided I'm going to cover it with plants anyways. And so all these doors that you see there, those are just going to be gone. So I'm taking forever to figure them out, and it doesn't even matter. And I was just adding some more of those objects, little pool objects that came with spa day. Actually, I think they're supposed to be for the fountains, but I love using these just to make curved kind of things. And the things that I'm using now too, pristine pedestals, I've definitely used that in a lot of my other builds. So these I totally recommend. They come with Get Famous, so they're just kind of perfect if you want to create something sort of round and flowy. And then the little fountain pieces come with Spa Day those are the ones that I used for the top area up there around the driveway. And I just love those two because if you are willing to put in the time and the effort and all the work to create these sort of curved shapes by, adding a ton of them and then rotating each of them a little bit, it's definitely worth it in my opinion. Just, it is work, but I think it can make a huge difference in a build, and it just really turns a build just kind of from boring and straight and just very, parallel and perpendicular, and it turns that into something that's just very round and curvy and just a lot more interesting. So I'm doing the landscaping here now, and something I usually do is I either surround the landscaping with either like some sort of rock or barrier from the rest of the lawn, or I put some dirt down just to separate it, but I did not do that for this. And the reason why is because I was like, okay, I'm going to try something different. It might not look as natural, but, it's always worth a shot. And I think it ended up being okay. I used, at the bottom there, I did use the pristine pedestals to surround the plants, but up on the main area, I did not. And I ended up putting one of the just kind of like little flower bushes that are low to the ground underneath everything. So it kind of creates like this little barrier. Like, this is the difference between the main lawn and the area here that the landscaping plants are. But other than that, I mean, I just tried to kind of keep the plants more natural. Like, this is the way that the plants are going to look. It's not going to be like that. It's not going to be perfect with like, a ton of rocks surrounding everything like in real life. So I just wanted to kind of make it more realistic. Like, I know sometimes there's dirt in planter areas, but then also sometimes there's not. It just goes right from grass to plants. So I did try to kind of create that and see how it looked. And I don't think it looked as bad as at least I expected it to look. But anyways, now I'm behind. I'm doing the kitchen now, and the rest of the landscaping, I know I didn't show all of it. So the rest of the landscaping I did off camera, but I basically just put in a bunch more plants. I surrounded that the area of the back of the house and the side of the house with more plants, and I think I might add some more later. I think I do end up adding the little bushes that I was talking about in addition to that. So, excuse me. So here we are doing the kitchen, and I was kind of trying to figure out a color scheme there. Because the outside of the house, it's kind of hard. The outside of the house was so white and just so like stark and like there was nothing to it. So I wanted the inside to, have a little bit more color. Like, I know like sometimes super like sleek and modern builds can look super good if they're black and white and just like monochromatic, but I didn't really want to do that with this house because I want it to be more of a traditional house. You can kind of tell from the outside it's not like a super modern kind of build. It has the columns and all that. So I did want to add a color, and I just couldn't figure out what color to do. So I ended up going with blue, and I usually don't use the same color throughout an entire house, but I ended up doing that for this house. It kind of looked weird, but I was able to reuse a lot of the rugs, and I think that even though I wouldn't normally do that, I think it kind of created this sort of cohesive flow to the house, and especially because basically all the rooms are like very flowy. They're all connected to each other with these archways that you see here. So the kitchen is on this side, but then on the opposite side of the house is symmetrical. So on the opposite side of this, where the kitchen area would be on the other side, it's the living area, and then another living area connects the two in the middle, and then on both sides there's each two little extra rooms on the corner. So I end up turning the two on the left side. One of them is a piano room and the other one is an office, and then the ones on the right side, one of them is just a little dining area off of the kitchen that you saw me work on a little bit already, and the other one is sort of just like a bar area. I just was kind of struggling because I was like, well, I want to create something with these rooms that isn't repeated. I don't want to create like a ton of living rooms. I already have living room spaces, and I don't want to create another dining room. So I just ended up trying to go for something sort of different with each one, so that it wasn't just a super repetitive house. And with this room, I'm just looking around the room for a while, figuring out what I want to do. And I kind of used this alcove little area, and I raised up the bookshelves above this little half wall. So it looks like the books are kind of like, the bookshelf is kind of built into the wall. And I just thought that was a pretty cool look. And I do that, I actually end up doing that downstairs in the basement too, but with the lights. I kind of build built-in lights into the wall. So you'll see that in a little bit. But I'm like, okay, well, I guess this room's going to be blue as well. So also I struggled with the wallpaper because I wanted most of the wallpaper to be gray, but then I also wanted some contrast, just a little bit. I wanted some darker wallpapers, but the issue with the wallpaper or the paint wallpaper that I was using is the ones that come with that white trim that I like. It's very simple. It comes with a lot of colors, so I liked using that, but it's either like a super light color or like a super dark color. So I didn't want to do like navy blue, and I didn't want to do like a super vibrant blue. So I had to end up going with, I ended up having to go with a lot of these, just sort of like muted baby blues. And like, I don't think it looks that bad, but I think like when there's too much blue, like it's too much. Like there's a point where it gets from it's cute to it's too much, especially if the entire house is blue. And I was trying to avoid that. So I did have different tones of blue, like see that rug there. It's a little bit darker. And then, I think the blue upstairs is a little bit more teal-ish. And this blue in this room here, it's a little bit more vibrant in the rug. So I do end up changing the wallpaper to make it vibrant, but that was kind of the colors I was sort of hoping to avoid. And I hope that the blue doesn't like overwhelm everyone, because it is a lot of blue, and I really try to stay away from like using the same color over and over again. But I'm like, the outside of this house is all white, and I didn't really want to continue that on the inside. So I did try to change it up and, kind of have this little refreshing moment where not everything is also super white on the inside too. It's actually colorful. So I was trying to figure out what to do here. I added the fireplace in the other living room area. So I wanted this one to be the family room with the TV. And I didn't know what to put in the space behind because it's not that much room. So I'm trying to like figure out what to put behind there. And I do end up putting plants. So I kind of create this little collection of plants. None of the planters, like I'm trying to size up the planters and like use those, but that didn't really end up working with the divider there. So I do just kind of create a little make your own planter area where I just kind of place some of the singular plants by themselves, just individually all together. So I kind of create that little area behind there, and I thought that's kind of cute, and it's right near the doors so you can see them as you enter and exit. And I think that rug came with seasons. I love it because it's not symmetrical, and not every rug is going to be like this perfect beautiful rug, and I think it's super casual and it just looks kind of nice. So now I'm doing the outdoor furnishing. Because this is the outside of the build, I did decide to go with the white and black theme. So it's very, very monotone on the outside, but I didn't really want these like super bright blue things like, popping out kind of nowhere. And that just, I feel like that would kind of ruin the whole vibe of the house. So I did go with at least a little bit of black just to switch it up a little bit, but I didn't go with a super colorful kind of theme over here. But I do try to add a bunch of things in the back. I add planters, and I add a bunch of couches and just like seats, a lot of seating areas, because there are already a lot of areas just on balconies outside. So that ended up being a lot more balcony space than I had anticipated. So now I'm just, kind of repeating the lounge chairs and the living areas and just some tables. So I kind of just do those over and over again. And here I'm figuring out what that over here. I wanted to add an activity. So I ended up adding planters, and I love a little planting area that's designated just, for a garden, because those are just the kind of things that I think makes a house what it is. Just not just like all these beautiful landscaping and giant windows and this and that. I just think the little things can make a big difference. Like, this is a house you want to live in, because there's not only is it just like a house with things with normal, like furnishing, normal living room, kitchen, dining room furniture that you would need, but it has like, the little things that you would do like every day, just kind of like the cooking and the planting and the hobbies that you would be doing. So I did want to add a little bit of that. And I'm just adding some lights in. I made it super bright. I did not want this to be a super dark build. I know I struggle with my lights a lot of the time. I'll be like, okay, this time it's not going to be dark, and then it ends up being super dark. And I feel like that's also terrible for furnishing purposes in the video, because you like can't see what I'm doing as well because it's super dark. So I did not want to do that to you guys. So I put in a bunch of my favorite lights, the subtle saucer lights. So great. If you size them down, you can barely see them. That's one of the main things. The main reasons I don't like the overhead lights is you can always see them, but with the wall lights, if you put the walls in cutaway, then you cannot see them. So that is definitely one downside to having ceiling lights, but they are so much more effective. The wall lights, they do a little bit, but to really make them effective, you're going to have to put them all around the entire room, and that is just not worth it. So that is why, the subtle saucer light is perfect to just kind of size down and put above everything, and it really lights everything up. So I did do this upstairs area, this like sort of living area up here, but I left the 2 bedrooms to the side empty. I did furnish the bathrooms on each side, so you will be able to furnish these bedrooms if you want to, but you don't have to. I did do all of the bathroom furnishing though, including this one, which is off of the gym. So right now we're in the downstairs basement area. So I have a gym down there, and then just a sort of living area kind of space. And this space sort of surrounds that whole fountain area so it has windows looking onto it, which I just think is so beautiful, because not only does it bring in light to that room, because it's in the basement, so it would normally not get light, but it also is just like this beautiful octagonal room, and I just created a bunch of areas with things to do on each side. So I know I have, you'll see in a minute or so, I have sort of a, one side is a fireplace. I was like thinking of the word. One side right here, I'm going to put the fireplace. And then there's a bookshelf area and like sort of a sauna area, which I guess doesn't really fit into this sort of room, but I just didn't know what to add there, and I just wanted to do something. So, you can always change that if you don't like it. And then a foosball table area as well. So I just thought it was kind of cute, just the way the room kind of flows around in a circle. So, that is one thing I really like about the basement area here, is the natural light that it has to the outside. And because I did that cutaway basement thing where I built the basement and then I removed the floor/roof on top of it, it creates that space that's also open up to the light, and I love that. So I have 2 more bedrooms and en-suites in this downstairs area too, to create a total of 4 bedrooms, and I create sort of a living area space down here as well. And I did put windows in the pool, so you can look into that too. And I think that's a great way just to have like a source of natural light for the living area down there. And it just is kind of super cool and looks really cool in the pool, just to be able to see how there are windows there. And I just think it's a whole like fun aquarium vibe that I really like. So you'll see me sort of get into that area in a little bit. I don't think I show a lot of it, but it definitely is in the screenshots. But right now, I'm doing this kind of rocky area over here. I wanted to add something kind of different to it, because it was just kind of plain and boring in this area. It was just a whole bunch of like concrete and like ugly gray stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I need to like, make it at least a little bit interesting. So now I'm just doing one of my favorite things, landscaping with the rocks from the by Debug, cheat. I can't think of the right word. Actually, I think it's just called debug. Am I the only one who says by debug? Because that's what it was in The Sims 3. And now I feel like I've been out of it for so long. Oops. Anyways. Oh yeah, here I'm doing the area next to the pool. And oh yes, I do the same kind of thing with the half wall that I did upstairs in the living area. And I just think that's kind of cool because it looks so built in. And I use these Dine Out booths, and ever since I got Dine Out, I really love these, and I haven't used them yet, but I just think that's super cool, and it's a super easy way to create a sectional. Oh yes, and then I put the rug there that I also used in the living room upstairs. I used a lot of rug repetition, which I usually don't want to do, but I just thought, there are only so many blues that you can have in this build, so I was just going to go for all of them. So these are the screenshots. I also have the floor plans screenshotted in this video as well. And thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and if you have any other ideas for me to do. This is on the gallery. Also, I have a Twitter that you can follow for build updates. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Bye. See you guys next time.